Hey everybody, welcome back to Wyatt's shop. I got some new stickers to show you. Even got it pretty. But the real reason you're here is I've got a 1998 Chevrolet flatbed truck that you may have seen me change that alternator out on, and I've got a crank no start situation now. I'm looking out there because my truck's out there, but the only thing different between running and not running is I disconnected the battery to fix a horn wire that was broken, so I had to unlock the steering wheel. So I disconnected the battery, as I said, turned the key to run position, did the repair on the steering wheel, moved it where I needed it, forgot to shut the key off, went back outside to connect the battery, and realized that the terminal post was stripped out on the negative side, so I took it back off and put a longer connection in there, reconnected it. So this happened many times. All the while I was hearing relays and stuff coming on. It never dawned on me that the key was still on. So shut the key off, finished the repair, put the battery back on. Now it won't start. So I'm going to take you through the steps that I know to do. Scannerdanner Premium, the lessons I've learned there, referencing back to his book. I've also got Scannerdanner's interest through his forum. And one reason I'm doing this video is so he can see the steps that I've taken to hopefully find out the cause. There are two warnings I've found in some references saying if you connect the battery with the key on, you can damage the computer. A P1351, I looked it up already. It's high ignition circuit voltage. Alright, during these checks I'm going to have the engine to the run position and this underhood light's going to be on. So I got a battery charger on it and we're at 12.68. Okay, I tested all the fuses off camera, but I wanted to show you these two fuses. They're labeled ignitions A and B, and you can see that they're good. 12.1, 12.0. So my two ignition fuses are good. Alright, that buzzing in the background is a battery charger, but first want to verify why we have a crank no start is due to ignition. So I have installed the ignition test light there in the ignition coil, and we should see spark there with the key on, cranking. Nothing there, so I'm going after spark. Alright boys, running to the truck, probed into the pin number 1 on the crankshaft position sensor. 12 volt supply. We do in fact have 12 volts. Alright, still on the crankshaft position sensor, pin number 3, volts AC now. We should be looking for our 5 volts here reference. So I gotta go crank the truck. So, is that what you guys saw? The scale is 14 volts there at the top. Time base is 2 seconds, and I'm showing 2, 4. That's right at 5 volts. That's where it should be. All right, I'm on the cam sensor. Pin 1 is 12 volt supply. Pretty dark out here today, guys, but right at 12 volts. All right, guys, what we're looking at there is a DC amps. No, it's not right. Voltage AC, engine cranking, pin number 2 on the camshaft position sensor. The specs say it should be at least 10, and I'm showing that there, it looks like. Okay, now we're at the ignition coil. The pink wire, it should be our 12 volt supply. I'm pinned on that back probe down there, and Advantage does in fact show 12 volts. Pink wire on the ignition control module should be 12 volts. 12 volts. Alright guys, the next step, according to the book, is to check the ignition coil. So I've got the schematic from Haynes manual here, and the color codes are correct. So kudos to them for that. They are calling the ignition coil driver. GM is calling it an ignition control module. But I verified we're working with the same component based on the color of the wires. They all match. So what they want me to do is go to the white and black terminal at the ignition coil with a test light to positive. Okay, I've got multiple things set up there. And then to take the test light to the pin here and crank it and check for, modulation of the test light. Now what I've also done is set up the vantage. That's my incandescent lamp. Battery positive. I'm on the pin. Got a remote control starter here. Watch for the light. No light. Nothing on the vantage. I've checked the pin multiple times. I'm here in my back probe, and I've done this off camera, and I cannot get anything from that test. Alright, it says if you don't have the modulation on the ignition coil, which we didn't, to disconnect the terminal from the ignition driver, white wire, front probing, but just touching it, not to spread the pin. We're supposed to see 1 to 4 volts while cranking. Check out the vantage. So 3.57 was kind of a constant reading there, so that's good. Now what? Alright guys, here we are going to consolidate our efforts today and try to make sense of all this. 98 Chevy 5.7 gas motor with 190,000 miles on it. And initially we had no diagnostic codes. Now we're showing a 1351, which is high ignition output circuit. Verified the volts from the battery is at 12. The 2 fuses, ignition number 1 and number 2, were both okay. Then we went to the crankcase position sensor and checked the trigger wire for 5 volts, and that was good. We have good ground, and we have 12 volt supply. Went to the camshaft position sensor and verified 12 volt supply. The signal wire in this case is 10, and the sensor ground was good. Then we went to the ignition coil connector, verified our 12 volt supply. The white wire in the middle there, tack, is not used in my application. And it then asked us to connect the test probe to battery positive and touch the probe to the white and black wire, crank the engine, and we should see a pulsation of the light. I backed it up with the vantage on different scales or different modes of viewing, and we saw nothing there. I checked my pin, back probed it many times, nothing there. So that is a variable. I could, still have screwed that up, but I did my best to check the connection. So then it said to go to the ignition driver or the module and check the output there. Check the ground. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Check the ground is good. Pink wire in this case is the tack, not used. And we have 1 to 4 volts, which was 3.57 on the white wire. And that white wire comes from the PCM to electronic spark control signal output. So now I'm thinking my PCM is good, which I initially thought because of some warnings in the book indicating that I might have fried my computer. Now I'm saying it's good because I had this signal. What we don't have is from the control module, the output of this wire going up to the ignition coil connector. When I back probe this, I have no signal. So now I'm calling this a bad electronic engine coil driver / module. So that's where I'm at. It's Sunday. I can't get the part today. I'll go tomorrow and get the part, and we'll see if it fixes the truck.